on parenting. I am your host, Reverend Naomi Wafula of Pefa Webuye Cathedral. So feel most welcome if you are a parent. This is your program. Today we have a good topic we are going to share. We are going to discuss on self-discipline of our children. Self-discipline. That is our topic tonight. Let me define self-discipline as the process of controlling one's self, being able to control oneself, controlling your impulses, controlling your preferences, controlling your desires, controlling your emotions, controlling your appetites. When you're able to control those things in you, by yourself, then we can say that you are self-disciplined. Allow me to read a few verses that talk about self-discipline in the Bible, and then we will be discussing some tips that you can use as a parent to help your children develop self-discipline. Because every parent wants a child who is self-disciplined. Every will desire to have a child who is self-disciplined, because a self-disciplined child is a child that is self-driven. They are able to make their own decisions. They are self-confident. They have good character. They are self-reliant. They are responsible. These are good children. A child who is self-disciplined is just a good child, because you will not go chasing them to do what they are supposed to do. They know what to do at the right time and at the right place. They are able to control themselves just to do exactly what is expected of them, and they don't go beyond the borders to interfere with others, to interfere with themselves. They find themselves in mud and mire. No, such children are actually good. And therefore self-discipline is a critical skill a child needs to learn. Self-discipline is a very critical skill a child needs to learn. Yet it's very challenging to teach. It's not easy to teach a child to be self-disciplined. So allow me to read a few verses that talk about self-discipline, and then we will share a few tips that can help us in one way or another. You can apply them in your parenting skill, and then maybe if it works for you, the better. You will have better children. Our first verse is 1 Timothy chapter number 4, verse 7. 1 Timothy 4:7. This is what the Bible has to say. The Bible says, "But have nothing to do with worldly fables, fit only for old women. On the other hand, discipline yourself for the purpose of godliness." On the other hand, discipline yourself for the purpose of godliness. So part B of that verse 7 of 1 Timothy chapter 4 is telling us that we should discipline ourselves. For what purpose? For the purpose of godliness. In other words, if you have to please God, God requires self-discipline. Self-discipline is a character of God, because the Bible says when we discipline ourselves, then we will gain godliness. We will be more godly. Tutakuwa watu ambao tuko na sura ya Mungu, tuna utaua ndani mwetu, tuna uungu ndani mwetu, kwa sababu tuna uwezo wa kujitia sisi wenyewe nidhamu. So kama unaweza saidia watoto wako wajitie nidhamu, wawe na nidhamu ya kibinafsi, waweze kujidhibiti kwa mambo ya maisha, basi utakuwa umefaulu sana, kwa sababu mtoto ambaye ako self-disciplined ni mtoto mzuri, ni mtoto ambaye hata kusumbua kama mzazi. Allow me also to read from 1 Corinthians chapter 9 verse 24. And this is what the Bible says. "Do you not know that those who run in a race all run, but only one receives the prize? Run in such a way that you may win. Everyone who competes in the games exercises self-control in all things." Everyone who competes in games exercises self-control in all things. In other words, what the Bible is telling us, if you have to win in sports, if you have to be good in sports, if you have to come out outstanding, if you have to gain the prize, then you must exercise something called self-discipline or self-control. You will not eat anything anyhowly because it will interfere with your body size. You will not wear anything because it will interfere with your running. You will not behave anyhowly. You have to discipline yourself to the routine that is set for you to keep fit and be able to run effectively in such a way that you will be able to get the prize. And therefore, self-discipline is very important. We all know that in every area of life, even at your place of work, if you don't have self-discipline, then you're not going to make any impact. In your general life, even in the home as a husband or a wife or a child of somebody, you need self-discipline. We all need self-discipline. Now, I want us to look at some tips that can help us to train our young ones that are coming up so that they can be self-disciplined. There are things, if our children can be taught, it can enhance self-discipline in them, and therefore we will come up and produce very lovely children. Children who are self-and children who are responsible, dependable. You can leave them at home and you're sure things are in order. They don't need to be chased after to do what is right, because they have what we call self-discipline. Number one tip that can help a parent to train their children into self-discipline is to provide a routine. Provide a routine of how you want your day to start in your home, and how you want it to go on, and how you want it to end. And stick to that routine. Have a routine of doing specific things and stick to that routine. Some parents have a routine at what time everybody has to wake up, and everybody wakes up at that time. Some have a routine when to do washing or laundry. They don't wash anyhowly. They have a routine of how to do, on when to do thorough cleaning. They have a routine. Which meals to eat when. They have a routine. Now, this will enhance self-discipline. We are not saying this is what will teach your children self-discipline, but it enhances. It helps them to understand that there is time for everything. Just like the Bible says in Ecclesiastes chapter 3 from verse 1. There is time for everything. You can't go doing anything anyhow. No, but there is time for everything. And therefore it keeps them in line with the routine that has been set, and therefore when they get used to that routine, they discipline themselves towards that routine. If that routine is a good one, then you have scored as a parent, because these ones, they are going to be good children. They know how to maintain routine. Even when they go to school, you know every school has a routine. You know that. Every school has a routine. There is a time for everything. So this will help them a great deal. Number 2 tip that can help you train your children into self-discipline is give them choices when necessary. Give them choices when necessary. Don't be too fixed in what you want them to do. Unaweza wapatia nafasi ya kuchagua. For example, you can tell them, you'll do your washing after you finish your homework, and if not, after your lunch. Okay, so you have given them some choice. They are not too fixed onto just one routine. That gives them flexibility. They are able to juggle around with their time well without having a lot of stress with them, and at the end of the day still meet their targets without any strain. So you can give them choices in your routine or whatever expectations you have towards your children. Number 3, create consequences. Create consequences. This is when you set boundaries for your children. You want your children to behave in a specific way. Now, to enhance those boundaries, you must create consequences. Yes. Tell them, if you don't behave appropriately in this manner, then these are the repercussions. These are the consequences. So the child will know that mom has said this. If I don't do this, then I will meet this. Dad has said this. If I don't do this, then I'm going to meet with this kind of punishment. So create consequences. Put boundaries and then create consequences for them. For example, you can tell them, if I find you have not washed utensils, I'll give you another chore to perform. You will do the cooking in the evening. See, that is a consequence for failure to perform the duty of washing utensils. So the children will work hard to do whatever work you have given them, because they know if they fail, there will be consequences. But you can imagine if you just give duties, you give time frames, but no consequences. They will not take you seriously, because they know even if they break the rules, there will be nothing done to them. Tell them, if you fail to do this, then this will follow. If you do this, then this will follow. That is good, and it will help your children to maintain the boundaries that you have given unto them, and it will help them to be disciplined in themselves. You realize that you will keep on giving them these things. After some time, they will be doing them themselves. You don't have to follow them. These are already self-disciplined children. They know when we wake up at home, we are supposed to do 1, 2, 3. When the house is not in order, we are supposed to do this and this. When things are not looking like this, when mom comes and finds the house like this, she will not be happy. If dad comes and finds us we have not done this, he will not be happy. So you see, this will be good self-disciplined children. They are able to run their own lives. But how did they start? You helped them by creating consequences when they were still young. Number 4, you can use the time out technique to teach them self-control. Using the time out technique to teach them self-control. This implies you take them out of the normal environment to a lonely place when they have done something wrong. Take them out of the normal environment to a lonely place, yes. And some people say you ground them in a room for some time, let them consider what they have done and think about the things they have done which are wrong. You can take them to a quiet bedroom and talk to them. You can take them to the bathroom and put them there for some time. It's just a way of punishment, so that they don't go making mistakes. It will help them to stick to the right routine. Number 5, set time limits. Set time limits in your home. Don't just leave your children to do things freelance. They can eat supper anytime. Supper today is eaten at 6. Tomorrow it can be eaten at 8. The other day it can be eaten even at 10. Now that's not good. Set time limits. Let there be some nice program that is time bound. Children can operate within a given time. They know this is the routine in our home. At what time do we eat lunch? And if I'm left at home alone, what time am I supposed to take lunch? What time am I supposed to do my washing? Children cannot be carrying clothes at 1. They are going to wash clothes. In the evening, they are going to wash clothes. You can put time limits to every kind of chore that you're giving them, and this will help a great deal in developing self-discipline in your children. Yeah, you can set time limits when children are supposed to be in the home. What time are they supposed to be in the house? This is for teenage children and those young adults. What time are they supposed to be in the house? If you leave them on their own, they will come at home very late, and that will not be in order. Set time limits. For example, my children should be in the house by this time. By 7, everybody should be in the house. Yeah? This will help them, even when they are doing their own things outside there. They know at home, we don't enter the house after this time. This will build in them self-discipline. These are the same children who will be very good mothers. They will be very good fathers. They will be very good husbands and wives. You can imagine a husband who comes at home at 1, staggering. He's from a drinking spree. And the other day is coming at 3 a.m. Because he never learned the issue of setting time. He never learned. So he's now grown up, he's old, he cannot learn. He cannot learn now, it is too late. This is a lady who has not learned, so it is too late for her, she cannot learn. So set time limits for your children. Let them know what time this thing should be done in our home. We do things like this within this time limit. Even when we are not there, when they know they eat supper at 7 in the evening, the supper will be ready. You will come, yes, but you'll find supper is there, because that is the routine you have trained them to follow. Yeah, so set time limits. Set time limits. Number 6, be consistent. Be consistent. Now, when you are dealing with young children, they want to see something called consistency. Are you able to follow up those programs you are giving them and ensure you continue and persist in them? Those boundaries you are setting, are you able to follow them up and stick to that? Are you consistent? Today you punish a wrong behavior, tomorrow you don't punish a wrong behavior. Today you are strict with the time, tomorrow you are relaxed with time. Children learn from such patterns, and they will know that you are not serious with what you are doing when you fail the test of consistency. So you must be consistent. Be consistent in what you are doing, because these children want consistent. Consistency is very important. This will help them to know that this is how things are done and there is no other way out. And so they will follow that routine, and it will be very easy for them to build character out of it. They will build behavior out of it, because there is no confusion in their training. So be consistent. If you're punishing wrong behavior, then keep punishing until it changes. Keep punishing until it changes. If you stop on the way, you leave the child confused. The child doesn't know now which is which. Today mom was so strict on this, tomorrow she's not. Today dad was strict with this, tomorrow he doesn't care. He seems not even to care at all, seems to have forgotten his own boundaries that he set. So be consistent as a parent. It will really help your children. If you're waking up your children to go to school at a specific time, be consistent with that time. Don't wake up a child today at this time, tomorrow you have changed the time. The other day you're going back to the old time, the other time you're changing the time. Now that confusion brings lack of consistency, and it makes children to be confused. It brings about confusion even in the children you're training. So be consistent. Number 7, help your child understand the reason behind the discipline you're giving them. Don't just discipline children anyhow. Have you seen some parents, they come home, they are agitated, they are annoyed, everything doesn't make sense for them, they beat up everybody, they throw out everything, they mess up everything, and people are asking, kwani, what have we done? Shida iko wapi? Mbona dadi amekasirika? Mbona mama amekasirika? Shida iko wapi? Na hawawezi kupata jibu kwa sababu hujawaelezea. Kama unapanish watoto, wewe waelezee kwa nini unawapanish. Tell them the reason for that punishment. They will appreciate. Even teachers, you can't just go punishing people's children. When you explain the reason for the punishment will be taken positively. Even the rude children, when you explain to them the reason why you're punishing them, they will take you serious and they will take in the punishment positively. And the same applies to our children in the home. Don't go just punishing children anyhow. No. As young as they are, they need to understand. and they are able to understand when you talk to them. Talk to them. Tell them this is why, what you have done, and it is wrong in this sense, and therefore I'm going to punish you because you have done this thing which is wrong. Now the child will know, oh, so now I shouldn't do this, because when I do this, mom will punish me. When I do this, dad will punish me. So they will avoid that way. So tell them the wrong they have done. Tell them why the punishment. Tell them why is it wrong. Let them get to understand the reason behind that discipline. Number 8,